Hello, welcome to this masterclass where we cover brows and lips. If you are new to Makeup Fundamentals, my name is Hannah and I'm one of the leads in the education team. So far in this series, we have covered acing your base, shaping your face, expression through eye makeup, and now we're going to tie it all together by focusing on those final touches, brows and lips. So though I said finishing touches with brows and lips, for some people, brows and lips can be their entire makeup routine. Your brows and your lips are where you show a lot of expression and emotion on the face, and I like to say that if the eyes are the windows to the soul, then the brows are the drapes. In this session with brows, we're going to cover how to find the right product for you, different effects with your brows and how to shape them, and then also some really great application tips. When we move on to lips, we're also going to cover all of the different formulas, how to find your right natural or nude shade, how to navigate finding your best red, and then we're going to give lots of application tips if you're wanting to adjust shape or change the structure of the lip. At the end of this session, you will feel empowered to create your own brow and lip looks and curate them depending on what makes you feel the most beautiful. So brows have really been on a journey. I'm sure you'd all recognize a really thinned out 1920s brow, which then resurfaced in the 90s. You'd recognize a 1980s brow, which then resurfaced in the 2000s. And the fabulous thing about brow products is you can play with these trends and the shape and texture of the brow and do it in a very risk-free way. So brows do a lot of different things for the face. They show emotion, they show expression. You can really sharpen and elevate a makeup look with your brow, and you can also really soften it. So the first thing we need to figure out is what effect do you want your brows to have? Because that's going to determine the products that we choose. You need to ask yourself, do you want a soft, fluffy brow, a neatly defined brow, or a bold brow? When I'm looking at brow products, I like to think of them in two different ways. Products that are going to give me texture and products that are going to give me shape and definition. And there are products that are going to do a little bit of both. Let's talk structure. So to build structure in the brow, a great option is a brow pencil. A thinner pencil will allow you to add hair-like strokes or a very soft structure, or a larger pencil will allow you to build color quickly and get that really beautiful, stronger structure. Another benefit of a larger pencil is the applicator tip often has that structure already built in, so you can really define the shape easily. If you are already feeling quite confident with your brows, this is when you may look to add in a colored pomade. These are really fantastic at adding in very fine hair-like strokes, depending on the brush you use, or creating really bold and defined lines. These ones do take a little bit more finessing, and sometimes you might be different brows on different days, or you might be a combination of all three. So that's our structure. Now let's talk about texture and hold. A clear brow gel will provide a medium level of hold, so this is great to be paired with a brow pencil or pen to create that neat structure in the brow. If you already like the structure of your brow, you may add a clear brow gel just to kind of tame and neaten up the brows. If you want a little bit more of a two-in-one product, this is where I would suggest a tinted brow gel. This will allow you to add a little bit of depth and volume to the brow and also provide a little bit of hold. If brow gel isn't quite enough for you, this is when I would opt for a wax, a clear pomade, or a brow soap. These products will actually set down, so they'll really hold that texture in place, and they're a really great option if you have very unruly, untamable brows. So now we've got all our products selected, let's get into application. So when you're shaping your brows, there are three key points to think about: where the brow starts, where the arch is, and where the tail of the brow ends. So as a point of reference, take your eyebrow pencil or a makeup brush, line it up with the middle of your nostril, and that will be where your brow starts. Hold it against your nostril and run it through the middle of your iris, and that's where your arch will sit. And then if you rest it on the edge of your nose and point it out, that should line up with the end of the brow. So if Anusha wanted to maintain that shape, but just add a little bit more definition and a little bit of texture, you could take your brow pen and just gently flick in a couple of extra hairs. So what I'm doing here is keeping Anusha's natural brow shape. We're just adding a little bit more volume and a little bit more texture. So Anusha, shall we add a little bit more structure?
Definitely.
Great, let's do it. So I'm going to imagine that line running from the end of the brow to the arch, and then running parallel from there to the top of the arch. So I'm going to fill in that line. So where Anusha naturally has more of a curve in her brow, I'm just flattening that out, and that's going to help to elongate the brow. And I'm pulling out the tail. And I'm going in just gentle little strokes. And so then I'm just following that top line, just lifting it ever so slightly, and that's just going to help to refine the shape. So following those straighter lines with your pencil will create more of that structure, and going in little strokes will create a little bit more texture. And the most important thing when you're doing your brows, they're not going to look right until you give them a little bit of a spoolie and a comb through. This is just going to soften the product and blend it all together. So as you can see, I've left the front part of the brow quite soft. There's not a lot of product there. And then we've really used the pen to refine that shape and pull out the tail. Okay, so now we have the structure in the brow. We want to add a little bit of texture and a little bit of hold. So I'm going to grab a tinted brow gel. Now, if you want to really intensify the texture, you can back comb against the strands, or you can comb in the direction of the hairs, just to give them a little bit more volume, but also help to lay them in the right place. So that's a nice soft structured brow. Now remember, when you're playing with your brow shapes, think of those 3 key points. So where the brow starts, where the arch is, and where the tail is. Play around with shape and structure, and most importantly, have fun with the texture. Let's talk lips. So lips really are the focal point of a makeup, and the lip product that you choose can really become your signature, whether that's a tinted lip balm that makes you feel together, or whether it's a really bold red lip that gives you the confidence for a really big event. The products you choose for your lip wardrobe can really change the mood of your makeup. You can adjust the shape of your lip, and they really help you to express yourself. So when picking your lip product, there's a couple of things you need to consider. Do you want to adjust shape? How much pigment do you want? What overall finish do you want? Would you like it to be shiny? Would you like it to be matte? And another thing to consider is the conditions in which you're going to be wearing this lip. Are you able to reapply throughout the day? Do you need it to last the whole day? Will you have a mirror with you if you are going to do touch-ups? So let's talk first about balms. Lip balms are a great prep step if you're going to be doing a really bold lip, but they can really be a product all on its own. If you like something really quick and easy that you can apply on the go without a mirror, balms are a really great option. Liners are a fantastic option if you want to change or adjust your lip shape, so you can enhance your own lip shape or slightly adjust. They are fantastic for longevity, so you can use them to create your structure and add other products on top, or you can just use them all on their own. Then moving on to lipsticks. Lipsticks are a category all of their own. So when you're deciding on your lipstick, you need to decide what finish do you want the lip to have. Do you want it to be glossy? Do you want it to be satin and more of a natural finish? Or do you want it to be really polished and long wearing and bold? Then we get to pigment. So pigment almost works a little bit like foundation. You have to think about how much coverage you want the product to provide. So do you want it to be sheer and glossy, having that natural lip color come through? Do you want it to be somewhere in the middle, or do you want it to be really opaque and bold? So then we get to color. Now this is definitely a journey and an adventure we would encourage you to go on your own. I wish we could talk about all the colors today, but in the session we're going to cover how to find your best natural color or nude, and then we're also going to give you some really fantastic tips on navigating your best red. Now, when looking at natural lip colors, you may want something that's going to enhance the color that is already present on your lip, or you may want to slightly adjust or elevate. For example, if you wanted more of a pinky or rosy nude, that's going to give you that sort of soft, romantic kind of feel. A peach is going to add a little bit of vibrancy and a little bit of extra summery sort of color. And then if you want something that's a little bit more subtle, a little bit more subdued, that's when you may opt for more of a beigey or brownie type tone. So I'm going to grab our model Anusha and I'm going to talk her through how to find her best natural lip shade, and I'm also going to give you some tips on application. So let's find a perfect natural lip tone for Anusha. So Anusha, when you wear a natural lip color, do you tend to like something that's a little bit more pinky, something that's peachy? What do you take into consideration when you're picking a color?
It's actually quite hard to find a natural lip color for myself, just because I've got a lot of dimension to my lip, so one color can seem quite flat.
Mm-hmm. And then in terms of tone, if you are doing a color, do you go more pinks? Do you go more peach? Do you do more sort of beigey brownie tones?
I like to keep it quite fresh and kind of towards a pink.
Okay, beautiful, excellent. So for Anusha, we're actually going to start with a lip liner, and we want to basically just refine and mimic that natural lip line that she has. Then we're going to add a little bit of lipstick in more of that pinky tone to keep that freshness in the lip. And we're using these two products to mimic the natural dimension that Anusha already has in her lip. So Anusha, when you do your lip liner, do you like to keep to the natural shape, or do you like to enhance the shape a little bit?
I like to keep it a little bit fuller.
Great, lovely. So we're going to do just a really gentle overline. So I'm going to start in the middle. I'm just going to trace around Anusha's natural lip line, making sure that towards the ends, we're cutting in just before the end of the lip line. Now, if I'm adding fullness, I want to lift through the center and just bring up the Cupid's bow ever so slightly. Then I want to mimic that on the bottom. So we're just mimicking that color and that pigment in Anusha's lip. Then when we add our lipstick, we're going to add it mainly to the center of the lip. So because Anusha wanted something quite fresh, we've opted for more of a pinky tone, and we've also opted for a formula that has a little bit more of a sheen to it. So we're keeping the lips looking nice and full, but still keeping them nice and fresh. So I'm going to add that mainly to the center of the lip. Again, just mimicking the natural color in Anusha's lips. Okay, great. What do you think of that?
Beautiful.
Oh, very good. So now that we have our natural lip colors sorted, let's take a little bit of an elevated step and explore the world of reds. When we look at red lipsticks, they generally fall into two categories. Either they're going to be a warm tone red, or they're going to be a cool tone red. Warm tone reds are those really poppy, bright, summery reds. They really complement a sort of bronzy makeup look, and they definitely give that very summery sort of energy. When we think about a blue-based red, that's a little bit more of that sort of old Hollywood glamour, that old school, beautiful, elevated, elegant red. So now let's find the right red for Anusha. So Anusha, we're opting for a red. Do you want to feel sophisticated, old Hollywood glamour, or do you want to feel vibrant, summery red?
Let's go Hollywood glamour.
Okay, great. And do you normally wear a red lip?
No, I'm very new to red, so I'm a little bit nervous.
Great, well, nothing to be scared of. So if you are a little bit newer to a red lip, a great option is to really buff the color in, almost wear it like a stain, and then you can build up the intensity as you become more comfortable with the color. So I'm gonna pick up the color on a little domed eyeshadow brush, and I'm gonna buff it in to the center of the lip and gently drag it out. Using a brush like this means you can really control how much pigment is going onto the lip. So what can sometimes be nerve-wracking about a red is getting that perfect crisp edge. But using this technique, buffing it in with a little eyeshadow brush, you don't need to worry. So Anusha, have a little look for me. See what you think.
I reckon we can bump it up.
Ready to go to the next level?
Definitely.
Alrighty. So when you're wearing a really bold red, the key is that really crisp precise edge. So this is when you want to focus on using your lip liner to really carve out the shape. So then we're just building up that color with the bullet. And it's just like coloring in between the lines. And then if you wanted to refine the shape, make it super precise, you could just trace around the lip with a little bit of concealer. So you can see that's really refined the shape and made it nice and precise. Have a little look, Anusha, what do you think?
Wow, I love it. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Welcome to your new perfect red. So you can see with these different techniques, you can wear a red in a little bit more of an approachable way, really buffing it in and making it nice and soft, or you can lean in and really make it beautiful and bold by adding that lip liner and a little bit of concealer. So that's a wrap on lips and brows. In today's lesson, we have covered how to find the right brow product for you, how to adjust or manipulate the brow shape, and also how to add texture. We've talked through lips, finding your perfect natural and then also your perfect red, and also some really great tips on application. If this has inspired you and you have more burning questions, I would encourage you to head into your local Mecca store or jump onto the Mecca website. Or you can stay tuned for our final makeup fundamentals, where we take all of the theory and all of the application tips and I show you how to create a start to finish look. See you next time.